Hello everyone, bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome to this week's episode of Weekly Chording with me, Daz. Each week I'm looking into a new song and spending some time with stories behind it, playing your favorites and mine. This week's song was a request from my dad Ian. It may not be familiar to you in the English-speaking world. So we begin in early 1960s Paris with Jacques Brel, who by 1963 was already emerging as one of the defining voices of modern chanson. And around this period, he was writing with his close collaborators Gerard Joannest and Jean Corty on material that confronted the bourgeois and aging. In one French essay, this song, Les Vieux, is described as one of the most famous in Brel's repertoire, representative of his talent for concentrating an entire life into a single revealing scene. So Les Vieux never had the broad pop-like success of Ne me quitte pas or Amsterdam, but is often hailed as one of the best songs of Brel's career. The English-language life of this song began in 1968 through the off-Broadway review Jacques Brel is Alive and Well and Living in Paris. Writers MORT, SHUMAN, and BLAU adapted Brel's French lyrics into English, aiming less for literal translation than for preserving the emotional weight and narrative shape. The review opened at the Village Gate in January 1968 and ran for more than 4 years, introducing English-speaking audiences to a body of work that critics described as songs full of wit, tragedy, and the human condition. Old Folks emerged from that context as the show's concentrated meditation on aging. Outside of the theater, the song found an unexpected home in the early catalog of John Denver. During his RCA years around 1970, Denver recorded Old Folks alongside other Brel adaptations such as Amsterdam. And while it was never released as a single or charted, listeners and later writers often point to it as one of the starkest and most unusual pieces in Denver's repertoire. So Denver helped carry Brel's vision to an audience that might never have otherwise encountered the off-Broadway review, extending the song's reach well beyond its original setting. So here we go, with French words by Jacques Brel, English words by MORT, SHUMAN, and Eric BLAU, and music by Jacques Brel, Gerard Joannest, and Jean Corty. Here's my take on Old Folks. The old folks don't talk much, and they talk so slowly when they do. Though rich they are poor, their illusions are gone, they share one heart for two. Their homes all smell of time, of old photographs and an old-fashioned song. Though you may live in town, you live so far away when you've lived too long. And they have laughed too much, do their dry voices crack, talking of things gone by. And have they cried too much? A tear or two still always seems to cloud the eye. They tremble as they watch the old silver clock when day is through. It tick-tocks so slow. It says yes, it says no. It says, I wait for you. The old folks dream no more. The books have gone to sleep, the piano's out of tune. The little cat is dead, and no more do they sing on a Sunday afternoon. The old folks move no more. The world's become too small, their bodies feel like lead. They might look out the window or else sit in a chair or else they stay in bed. And if they still go out, arm in arm in the morning's chill, it's to have a good cry, to say their last goodbye to one who's older still. And then they go home to the old silver clock when day is through. It tick-tocks so slow. It says yes, it says no. It says, I wait for you. The old folks never die. They just put down their heads and go to sleep one day. They hold each other's hands like children in the dark, but one will still get lost anyway. And the other will remain to Just sitting in a room which makes no sound. It doesn't matter now, the song has died away and echoes all around. You'll see them when they walk through the sun-filled park where children run and play. It hurts too much to smile, it hurts too much, but life goes on for still another day. As they try to escape the old silver clock when day is through, it tick-tocks so slow. It says yes, it says no, it says I'll wait for you. The old silver clock that's hanging on the wall, that waits for us all. French commentators have often stressed that Brel's aim here was to show the solitude and silence that envelop many elderly people without leaning into sentimentality. One critic describes the song as depicting that closed universe where old age becomes a form of slow disappearance built from domestic details rather than grand statements. The image of the clock, of course, is central. It's not just marking time. It feels like a living presence waiting for you, ticking away towards infinity. The final turn towards the listener is one of Brel's most characteristic moves. The song directs attention away from that anonymous old person and back towards us, collapsing the distance between the observer and the subject. And this approach is part of why Brel songs are often described as these miniature dramatic monologues. In performance, he was known for inhabiting his characters fully. Live recordings from the mid-1960s show him delivering the song with a theatrical intensity that later rock and theater performances would cite as influential. For example, lines from Vieux have made into later works. The song was borrowed by David Bowie in his 1977 piece, Sons of the Silent Age. So just wrapping up by letting you know that I've just been fired from the clockmaking factory. Turns out they did not appreciate all those extra hours I put in. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Buy me a coffee if you're feeling generous. My hour-long SHUMAN show on YouTube and Twitch will be momentarily in a few minutes. I just need to get some sort of sorted. And then next Saturday at 11 a.m., don't forget to join me next week for another episode of Weekly Chording at 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Take care, and I hope I will see you next time.
Thank you. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
It says yes, it says no, it says I'll wait for you. The old silver clock that's hanging on the wall,